Every business has been affected adversely by technology. No, sir, that is not correct at all. Technology tends to lower costs, which is good for business, which is why businesses invest in new technologies. As an example from my industry, back in the day, we had VHS cassettes. Those were replaced by DVDs, which had a much lower manufacturing cost because there's less gears to assemble and all that stuff. Much lower distribution cost because they were thin and small and you could cram more onto a truck and therefore pay less in shipping and gas. And more people want to purchase them because the product was vastly superior. But DVDs were soon replaced by streaming, which, other than the initial setup fees, had a much lower manufacturing cost, a much lower distribution cost because you don't have to cram them onto a truck and pay for shipping. And the product was vastly superior because people could get it instantaneously. Along the way, writers have gotten paid much less on each step. We get paid less for DVDs than we did for VHSs, and we get paid less for streaming, much less than we did for DVDs. So you're wrong about this. I'll continue. I understand the roofer analogy, but now the money pie is smaller for writers and studios. No, sir, that is just a fiction that you are making up. The studios are grateful that you're spreading this fiction, but I don't know why you're doing their dirty work unless they're paying you. They're not paying you, so why are you doing their dirty work? It's not true at all. I'll back it up with facts, though. Over the past 10 years, pay for the average writer is down 4%. Adjusted for inflation, it's down 23%. Along that same 10-year period, studio profits, as defined by the studios themselves, is up 39%. Adjusted for inflation, it's up 195%. So the pie for the studios has gotten much, much larger, and the pie for the writers has gotten much, much smaller. Making it worse, 50% of all TV writers are now making WGA minimum. 25% of all showrunners are making the minimum. This is outrageous. This is crazy. I think what the studios are expecting is that we'll just get a second job. Go get a second job. Drive an Uber. Well, a lot of us don't want to drive an Uber, but I have a better idea. Why don't they drive an Uber? They can get a second job. That way they can afford to pay us what we're worth. But they're going to say, we don't want to drive an Uber. We make way too much money to drive an Uber. Yes, exactly. You make way too much money to drive an Uber. Now, you may say 2023 is a bad year for the studios. Maybe. I don't know. I don't even care. You know why? Because when times are good, and the past 10 years, times have been great for the studios, they don't share the profits with us. They share the profits with their shareholders. We're independent contractors. It's not like they hand out bonus checks for us. So when times are bad, maybe they're bad now, I don't know, but I'm not going to shoulder that responsibility. That's a you problem, not a me problem. So I'm not saying these people are evil either. This is just business. I like many of these studio executives. We'll work it out. Things may get ugly until then, but we'll work it out. It's just business. For more on what it's like to be a TV writer, keep following me here and check out my free webinar about how to break into the business and how to be a better TV writer and all that stuff. The link is in my profile.